Mia Local Poultry Farm. Welcome to another exciting episode of Farm with Us. I remind you that our main farm is located in Chenjojo district, that is Rui Valley Trading Center, and we have another farm in Kachiri along Hoima Road. The main one is the one in Chenjojo district. So in this episode, there are some things that we're going to talk about, but before we go there, there are some viewers that reached us through our YouTube channel and requested us to be translating some of the episodes in English. We know Mia Local Poultry Farm cuts across different countries, different continents, and we know some of the people don't understand the language that we mainly use, that is Uganda. So we are here, we shall be sharing some episodes and we shall be answering some of those questions and putting in some of the work in English. So today we are going to answer one of the questions that has been mainly asked. There are these people who come and ask that, okay, you people, you broke down if you want to raise 200 birds, what do you need? We talked of the feeds, we talked of the housing, we talked on everything. But in this episode, we want to mainly answer this question of how much can I get out of 200 birds. So once again, I remind you that at Mia Local Poultry Farm, we deal specifically in local birds. We don't do broilers, we don't do broilers. So in this episode, we want to answer this one viewer that asked, if I have 200 birds, 200 local birds, how much money can I get from it monthly? Now, one thing I want to remind you is that in farming, when you join the local poultry farming, we don't count our profits monthly, we count our profits weekly. So in most cases, after 7 days, from Monday to Sunday, we check our books, we balance ourselves and know how much money have we made, how much losses have we made, how many eggs, how many. So this is what we're going to break down. So this person says you have 200 local birds. Now we are going to assume he didn't say whether they are female or they are male, or all he said is you have 200 birds that you have risen up to the laying stage. So we are going to assume all the 200 birds are all hens. I think I'll use the simple word hens to mean the female part of the chicken. So if you have 200 hens, how much money can you make weekly, or how much money can you make monthly? So this is what we're going to look at. But before we look at that, I know we are all excited to look at how much money can I get out of the 200. Sometimes you don't need to just bring a total and put it there. I will tell you it's going to be 1 million weekly, or 1.5, or 2 million, or 500,000. So before we get there, let us first know, what does it need to feed 200 birds? So we are going to look at the feeding part first, and then later we can tell how much money do we make in a week or in a month, and then we can subtract what we consume, that is the feeding part, and then come out with a profit. So we are going to start with the feeding or consumption. Now 200 birds, let's first ask ourselves, how much do 200 birds consume? Now 200 birds, each bird, if you remember what we told you in the other episodes, those who watched the Uganda episodes, 200 birds, each bird that is at mature stage, it eats 120 grams. So I'm using grams here, I'm not using kilograms. So if each bird is eating 120 grams, that means the 200 birds are going to be eating 2,400 grams. Now when we convert the 2,400 grams into kilograms, we are going to get 24 kilograms. Now we are going to note that our birds are going to be eating 24 kilograms. So this is what we are feeding our birds, 24 kilograms at the mature stage, or what we call the laying stage. Now, if you're consuming 24 kilograms per day, now we want to know how much does the feeds, how much are we going to spend on the feeds daily? Now, first of all, we need to know what are we going to feed our birds. We need to make sure that our birds are getting the best feeds ever, because we want that constant supply of eggs. Otherwise, if we feed them with bran only or broken only without concentrate, then they are not going to be giving us eggs as in plenty. Some are going to be laying 2 eggs, then they will not lay for the next 3 days, then again they will start laying, then they something like that. But we want them to be giving us constantly. Now, some of the things, if you remember, when in the other episodes, I will try to put a link around here up. If you remember, we need to feed them on the concentrate. For us, we use the cow days, but there are so many different. No one has paid for this, so I'm not going to advertise any feeds here, but I will tell you specifically what I use. So what I use, I mix 50 kilograms of the cow days concentrate, that is the broiler, and then I mix broken, I add in bran, and then I add in lime, and I add in salt. Now when you come up with this concentrate after mixing, depending on where you are in the country, I'm going to take the most expensive part. Let's assume you're in Kampala. So the amount of money you're going to buy your broken, you're going to buy your bran, lime, salt, and everything, you're going to come up with a kilo at about 1,300 shillings. But now, remember, when we are doing some calculations, we need to talk about facts. Let's bring it to the worst, where we are not in a season of maize, where we are not in a season of so many things. So let's try to put our total up to 1,500 per kilogram. Okay? I hope we are all following. Now, if we are getting each kilo at 1,500 shillings, I'm using Ugandan shillings. Later we can convert to dollars after getting the full figure. So if we have 1,500 shillings and we are eating 24 kilograms per day, now when you do the math, you're going to find that you're using about 36,000 shillings. 36,000 shillings to feed these birds daily. Now 36,000 shillings, that's about $10. Okay, now in the other currencies, if you're using dollars, let's count about $10, $10 to $11. Let's take $10. So we are feeding our birds 36,000 shillings. But now we want to know, if you're feeding them 36,000 shillings, we want to know in a week, how much money can we make? I mean, how much money are we going to be feeding our birds in 1 week? So we shall get this 36,000 shillings times 7 days in a week, and our total is going to come to 252,000 shillings. 252,000 shillings. Currently, that's about $70. Okay, so let's keep that figure that we have got, 252,000 shillings. Now we want to know, remember we said we have 200 birds, and we want to know how much money can we make out of them weekly. Now the 200 birds that we have, let's assume all the birds are not laying. Let's assume you're going to have only 150 birds that are laying. Let's assume the 50 birds are not going to be laying daily. Now, if we have 150 birds that are laying, that means you're going to be collecting 150 eggs on a daily basis. Now, if you are getting 150 eggs, for us in local poultry, there are 3 or 4 ways we make our money out of the eggs. First, we can sell the eggs for eating, just normal consumption. Second, we can sell these eggs. Remember, they are fertilized. We can sell them for hatching. Now, after selling them for hatching, we go to our next step. Now we can hatch ourselves those eggs, take them to the incubator and come up with the chicks, and then sell those chicks. Now that's the third way of making the money. Now the fourth way, how we make money. Now instead of selling the 1-day-old chicks, I will say, I will sell them at 1 month. Okay? Now, the fifth way will be now to get all these birds that you have hatched and give them feeds and then sell them when they are mature. But let's not go there. Let's look at the first 4 ways how we make money out of these eggs. Now here we said we are getting 100. I hope you guys are noting. I hope you have a pen and paper. So I hope you are noting and you are following. Yes. So we are said we are getting 150 eggs per day. Now if you're getting 150 eggs per day, how many eggs are we getting in a week? Now we shall multiply that by 7 days that are in a week. We are going to get a total of 1,050 eggs in a week. Now, if you're getting 1,050 eggs in a week, okay? For us now in local birds, like I told you, you can sell these eggs for eating. If you want to sell these eggs for eating, you're going to sell a tray at about 18,000 shillings. So if you're selling them at 18,000 shillings, if you're selling 150 eggs, if you divide them by 30, we shall be getting only 5 trays in a day. Now if you're selling 5 trays in a day times 18,000 shillings, because that's the farm price for the local eggs, you're going to be getting 90,000 shillings in a day. Now 90,000 shillings in a day, remember we are calculating weekly. Now 90,000 shillings in a day times 7 days in a week. Now if you multiply by 7, you're going to get 630,000 shillings. 630,000 shillings. Remember we said our consumption weekly is 252,000 shillings. Now we shall subtract 630,000 minus 252,000, and then we shall come up with 378,000 shillings. Now 378,000 shillings, if we remove about 28,000 shillings that we can use on the medicine, the water, and a few things, we are going to come up with about 350,000 shillings. Now that means in a week, if we say to sell these eggs here just for normal consumption, we are going to be making about 350,000 shillings. That is $100 weekly. Now that is the first stage. Now let's go to the second stage. Let's assume these eggs, we're not going to sell them for eating. There are people there out who are looking at breeding chicks and selling them to other outgrowers. For you, you may not be interested in the selling, or you may not have the clients who want to come and buy from you. But as Mia, we can come to you and collect the eggs from you. Another company can come, another company can come. We have all these people that are waiting for these fertilized eggs. Now, these fertilized eggs, the tray is sold between 30 to 35,000 shillings. Now, remember we said we are collecting 5 trays in a day. Now, if we calculate 5 trays and we count at the least amount of money a tray that has fertilized eggs is sold, that is 30,000 shillings, we are going to come up with 150,000 shillings. Okay, that is daily. And in a week times 7, we are going to be making 1,050,000 shillings. Now, in a week, you're going to be making 1,050,000 shillings. Remember, we have a figure that we need to subtract. That is the consumption, the daily consumption of these birds. And we said in a week they consume 252,000. That brings us down to about 798,000 shillings. Now, when we subtract again another 28,000 shillings, we said we're taking just a rough estimate of the figure we may use on medicine, because sometimes you'll need maybe some glucovit, then maybe you're putting in this small medicine for flu, a little bit of medicine for fall, typhoid, and all the other diseases. Now, if we multiply this figure and we remove about 28,000 shillings, we are going to come down to 770,000 shillings. Now, 770,000 shillings is the amount of money we shall make weekly if we decide to fertilize our eggs and then sell them out to other outgrowers. Remember, to sell these fertilized eggs, if you remember in the other videos, we shall do these videos in English. You need to get male birds and put them in your stock so that they can fertilize these hens, so that you can have fertilized eggs. Now, 770,000 shillings, we say that's our profit weekly. Now, if we convert that in dollars, currently, you'll find that we are making about $223 weekly. Now, we said that is the second stage of the profits that we get. Now, let's go to the third stage of the profits, because we want to know really how much, up to how much money can we make out of the 200 birds. That's the question for today. Now, if we go to the third stage, now the third stage, here we are looking at incubating our own eggs. We take them to the incubator, pay there some money, they incubate them, and then we can sell these chicks to our outgrowers. Okay? Very simple. Now, we are going still to use the same eggs that we're getting per day. So per day we said we are getting 150 eggs, and then in a week we're going to be getting times 7. We are going to be getting 1,050 eggs. Now, this is something that every farmer needs to know. When you put these the cocks, or let me call them the male hens, or the roosters, now when you put them in these chicken, some of the chicken may lay the eggs that are not fertilized. You find this chick has been stubborn, it was not served that day. So there is that egg that was laid and it was not fertilized. Or you'll find maybe some eggs come out and maybe they're a little bit broken, they're not going to fertilize. Some eggs come with 2 yolks, they don't get fertilized. Some we shall be training you to see how we select good eggs from the bad ones. Now the good ones, they are the ones we take for fertilizing, and then the other ones we sell them for eating. That will be now another episode, because now if we enter into that, it's going to take, and I don't want this video to be too long. Now, we said we are collecting 1,050 eggs. Let's assume the 50 eggs, some were broken, some didn't come out well, and they are not good. So we are going to take 1,000 eggs to our incubator. Okay? Now, when we take 1,000 eggs, still the 1,000 eggs are all not going to hatch. They are those, we said they are those eggs that could not have been fertilized. Now, when the worst goes to the worst, we are going to remove about 300 eggs from the 1,000. So meaning we're going to come out with about 700 chicks. So let's assume the 300 eggs were not fertilized, or maybe they had issues. Maybe they had 2 yolks, they had so many things that didn't allow them to incubate. Now, when we take 1,000 eggs, let's assume, just like we've said, that we have come up with 700 chicks. Now, when we come out with 700 chicks, Remember, there is some small fee that you pay to the incubator. Okay? Now, each egg normally is charged 200 shillings. So that means when we take 1,000 eggs times 200, we are going to pay there 200,000 Uganda shillings to the incubator. Now, when we pay 200,000 shillings, and then we have come up with our 700 birds. Now, the 200, another cost after after hatching the 700 birds, we're going to need another money that is going to buy the vaccine, because before you sell these 1 day old chicks, you need to vaccinate them against Marix. Marix is a very, very, very bad disease. We call it HIV/AIDS for chicken. Usually its incubation period is about 3 months. So you can rear your birds until 3 months without noticing that your chicks have Marix. So when the Marix comes and attacks you, trust me, you may not remain with anything in your flock. So it's very, very important. It's very, very much advised or recommended that you buy from someone with a good reputation, someone who can be recommended by others, someone who has tested time, someone who has been there. Because you're going to get from someone who loves money like nothing, is going to give you these chicks and they are not vaccinated about Marix, and then they will tell you to keep vaccinating. But at about 3 months, imagine 3 months, because this is the time when you start now counting your money, like in the next 2 months, in the next 3 months, I'm going to be hatching, I'm going to be selling eggs. Now you're getting all your stock going down to zero. Now let's get back to our mathematics here. We said we have 700 chicks that are hatched. We have used 200,000 shillings to hatch them in the incubator. We're going to need about 50,000 shillings to buy the vaccinations, that is Marix and Newcastle. So on the 200, I'm going to add another 50,000 shillings. That means we're going to use 250,000 shillings to bring out the 700 1 day old chicks. Now the 700 1 day old chicks, for us at Mia Poultry Farm, we sell each chick at 3,000 shillings. Now let's assume it's Mia, because we have the clients and we welcome new clients. At least we have a good reputation. Our clients can come out and testify on that. At least they have been doing that and recommending more clients to come and buy from us. Now let's assume all the 700 birds are going to be sold at 3,000 shillings. How much money are we going to make? I think that's about 2.1 million. But let's not go there. Remember, we are calculating this to the worst. Let's assume you don't have these clients who can afford to buy each chick at 3,000 shillings. So let's assume that your clients are going to buy each chick at the least, let's say 2,000 shillings per chick. Now, if you have 700 chicks times 2,000 shillings, you're going to come up with 1.4 million. Now, 1.4 million, we are going to subtract the 250,000 that we used for the incubator to hatch these chicks and also to vaccinate against Marix and Newcastle, because that's what we vaccinate at day 1. So when we remove 250,000, we are going to come up with 1,150,000. So let's go ahead and also remove the 252,000 that we fed our birds in that 1 week when we are collecting those eggs. So again, we remove 252,000. Then we come up with 898,000. Again, we remove our 28,000 for the medicine that we used in that week. So here minus 28,000, we come up with 870,000 per week. Now we have calculated at the lowest. Remember, there is no one you're going to call and is going to sell to you 1 day old chick at 2,000. But we said now, when the worst comes to the worst, you as if you are giving away these chicks. So you're going to be collecting a profit of 870,000 shillings. When we divide that to get how much you'll be getting in dollars, you'll be collecting about $252 weekly. Monthly, you'll just multiply by 4. Okay, now here we are going to our fourth way of making profits out of the 200 bahts. I think this will be the final. Now, number 4, we have seen that we have produced 700 chicks at a cost of 250,000 shillings. That is the money we paid for the incubator and for vaccinating these chicks. Now, when you have the 700 bahts, let's assume you have sold only half of them. Or let's even assume no one has bought any of these chicks. Let's assume you are a new person who is just beginning and you're not able to sell any of these chicks. And remember, every week you're going to be hatching. Every week you're going to be hatching. That's why we are able to calculate how much money you're going to be getting monthly. Now, if you have 700 chicks, each chick, or let me bring it like this, each 100 chicks, each batch of 100 chicks are going to consume about 150,000 Ugandan shillings to bring them to 1 month old. Okay? We are saying each 100 batch or 100 stock of these little chicks, to bring them up to 1 month, you're going to feed them 150,000 shillings. We feed them on some special pellets. There are so many pellets. I don't want to go into the names, but that will be another day. But now here we're going to take each 100 chicks are consuming 150,000 shillings. So remember, we have 700 chicks, so they're going to consume 150,000 shillings times 7. So these 700 birds are going to consume 1,050,000 shillings to bring them to 1 month. The other things that will come in, the other things are going to include, you're going to need charcoal to put in your brooder for 1 month. You're going to need to vaccinate these birds every week, because when you are vaccinating them for the first time, the first day we said you do Marix and Newcastle. Then after 1 week, you vaccinate again against Newcastle. The second week, you vaccinate them against Gombolo 1. Then the third week, we go for Gombolo 2. And then the fourth week, we do Newcastle. And then we put them out of our brooder. So we are calculating up to the time when they're going to come out of the brooder. That is 1 month. So I'm going to roughly estimate the vaccine to be another 50,000. It's less than that, but let's take a flat figure. The vaccine is going to be 50,000 for all those second, third, and fourth week. So 50,000. Now we are going to add charcoal. Let's assume we shall need about maybe like 2 sacks. Let's say the charcoal may need charcoal of about 150,000. So, and other things, water, blah 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 blah, depending on where you are, depending on how you're getting the water that you're feeding. So we are going to bring the cost to about 250,000 shillings. Okay, now 250,000 shillings, let's add it to the 250,000 shillings that we used in the incubator and also for the first vaccination, that was Marix and in Newcastle. So when we add this, we are going to be getting 500,000 So 500,000 is what we need for our eggs to raise these chicks to 1 month old. Now remember, we have 700 eggs. Okay, now when you put 700 eggs in the brooder, let's say you are not so lucky, you've lost something, you've lost about 50 chicks, okay, in the brooder. Now when you lose about 50 chicks in the brooder, excuse me, so we said in the brooder, if you lose about 50 chicks, now when you lose about 50 chicks from the 700, we are going to remain with 650 chicks. Now 650 chicks is what we have come up at a cost of 500,000. Now these chicks, when they are at 1 month, we sell them at Mia Poultry Farm, we sell them at 10,000 shillings. Okay, each chick. So if you are selling each chick at 10,000 shillings times 650 chicks, we are going to come up with 6.5 million. But let's also assume that we don't have the buyers. What are we going to do to these chicks? Remember, we need to sell them. Now let's cut them. Let's cut them from 10,000. Let's sell them at a very, very low price. Let's sell them at 7,000 shillings. Because when you sell them at 7,000 shillings, you are leaving about 3,000 shillings for these guys who are going to hawk these chicks. Now these chicks are sold everywhere they are known. They are sold at 10,000 shillings. 10,000, 9,000. So if he sells one chick at 10,000, he's getting a profit of 3,000. We're talking of the hawkers. These guys who ride motorcycles, they put there something like a box and put like 200 chicks and move door to door selling. Now, if he sells at 9,000, he'll be getting a profit of 2,000 shillings. That means if he sells about 100 chicks in a day, he's going to be collecting between 200 to 300,000 shillings in a day for himself. So, now what are we looking at? We are looking at, sorry, another interruption. So we are going to be looking at selling these chicks here at about 7,000 shillings. Now we have 650 chicks and we are selling them at 7,000 shillings. We are going to come up with a total of 4,550,000 shillings. Now this is the money that we are going to get in 1 month. At the end of it all, we are getting 4,550,000 shillings. Now again, we deduct the 500,000 shillings we said we used for everything: hatching the eggs, vaccination, feeding the chicks in the brooder, and everything. So when you remove the 500, you're going to remain with 4,050,000 shillings. I think we are all together at this. So when the worst comes to the worst, you can even if you say I'm going to deduct another 500,000 from this, you'll remain with about 3.5 million. So this is from the eggs that you collected in 7 days. Okay, so this is the fourth way you're going to make money. So like we said, the first stage when we sell eggs for just normal consumption, we are going to be getting about 350,000 shillings weekly. That is about $100. Now when we sell these eggs as fertilized eggs for incubation, we are going to be getting about 770,000 shillings. That's about $223 still weekly. Now when we come down to the third phase, we're going to be getting, that is when we decided to sell our chicks at 2,000 shillings. We're going to be coming up with 870,000 shillings as a weekly profit. That's about $252. And now lastly, the fourth. Remember this one, we said you should be having the money and the capacity to feed these birds. We are going to be coming up with a profit of about 3.5 million. That is 1,000 US dollars weekly. So I think we are together in this. So guys, I don't know what you guys are waiting for. Okay, I'm not a motivation speaker, and I'm not here to motivate anyone. I'm not here to. All I need is to come up here and tell you the truth. You guys are wasting time doing other things. If you join the local poultry or the local poultry, we are not preaching, but we are telling you facts. Everyone who has entered local poultry can testify on this. So remember, it's only the local birds that you are able to breed or to incubate and get chicks. I don't know if you guys are getting it. If you do broilers, unless if you have the parent stock, which I don't think you're going to get in Uganda, to be able to brood and incubate and get chicks out of them, you're going to buy them. That means when you have the broilers, when you have the layers, the only thing you can get out of the layer are eggs. The only thing you can get out of the broiler is meat. Same as broilers and other birds. Now for the local ones, you have this chance. It's you who decides, do I want to sell eggs for consumption? Do I want to sell eggs that are fertilized for incubation? Do I want to incubate the chicks and sell them myself? Do I want to incubate these chicks, feed them up to 1 month, and be able to make this 3.5 million weekly? So at least I have tried to break down everything. This is all you need to know. At Mia Local Poultry Farm, we bring everything openly. We tell you how much you're going to get, what are the benefits, what are the losses, why we wouldn't recommend you to go that direction. We give you everything. We give you all the knowledge. But first, I want you to remember, we've seen that you can make more than 3.5 million out of only 200 local chicken. Okay? But now this is not going to come without hard work. This is not going to come when you're not prepared. Okay? You're going to rear these birds, they're going to reach 2 or 3 months, and you cannot feed them. Then how do you expect them to lay at a constant rate? Then you're not going to be able to raise the 150 eggs daily. You'll find today you'll get 100 eggs, tomorrow you get 98, the other day you get 50, the other day you get 160. So you're not going to be constant in this. First of all, to be constant, you need to be constant in everything you're doing. You have to be there. It takes commitment. You're not going to drop. Not going to drop your project to your workers and think you're going to yield this. Okay? So once you invest your money into the chicken or the goats or the cattle, any project that you invest your money in, please look after it as your own baby. Okay? Love it. Be there for it. Even if you have another job, but please create time for it. At Mia Local Poultry Farm, we do training at all stages, at all levels. We train the managers, we train the workers, we train you how to get market. I think the next episode will be how to get market, because we've been doing a lot of calculations. Okay? We sell eggs at 30,000 shillings a tray. Someone is going to ask, where am I going to get the market for it? Okay? Or we sell the roosters at 40,000 shillings. We sell the chicks, 1-day-old chicks at 3,000. The 1-month-old chicks at 10,000. Where am I going to get this market? I think that should be the topic for the next episode. So you guys, if you really want me to talk about that, please don't forget to share, like, comment. Just comment, and then we shall come with that episode. We shall train you right here on YouTube how you're going to get your market. Okay? And if you need now advanced knowledge, then you have to come to the farm and we shall take you through all this. But the next episode, if you guys like it, please just comment and request for that episode, and we shall take you through how you're going to get your market. And it's very easy to market this. You guys, you should come to Mia Local Poultry Farm in Shenjojo and see everything for yourself. Bring in your worker. They can even come in for a month. They can even come in for 2 weeks. We have capacity of feeding them, housing them, training them for all that time. So that this business of bringing workers for 2 days, you go, then they have not learned anything, and then you're going to be bothering us with phone calls. By the way, it's not bothering, because that's our work. When you train from me, a local poultry farm, anytime you want, whether it is night, whether day, call us, disturb us with those phone calls, because we accept to mentor you, we accept to farm with you. That's our motto, farm with us. So whenever you're calling us, you're not disturbing us. You're only doing us a favor of telling you what to do. And then when we are giving you this information, of course we shall come and share, and those are the testimonies people want to hear. Because we believe that when you farm properly, when you farm very well, it's same person, it's you who is going to recommend more people to come to me, our local poultry farm, and buy our products. So this business of sitting here and then we tell you this, we tell you that, and then you're like, you see, those things don't exist, those things don't exist. Those things of you give me a rabbit, I give you a cow. No, like I told you, we're not doing any motivational speaking here. No, you come to our farm, we train you, we give you all this information, and we tell you how much money you will need to raise the desired number of birds. If you need 500 birds, if you need 1,000 birds, if you need 200, we give up to 50. The lowest we give for the 1 day old are 50 birds. Of course, you're not going to come to us and book 10 or 5 birds of 1 day old. Then there is no way we're going to give you that kind of number. So we start supplying from 50 going onwards. But very, very, very important, please reach us on our phone numbers, call us, come and do farm training. During the farm training, that 1 day that we spend with you, it's going to change your life. It's going to tell you that, okay, you've been desiring, you've been wanting to enter into poultry farming, local poultry farming. But now when we bring for you all these data here, you're going to gauge yourself. You're going to know whether you can manage or you cannot manage. Because you need to gauge yourself in terms of your pocket, okay, the financial capability, the physical capability, and everything. Okay, you're going to do your marketing. No one is going to come and do the marketing for you. You're going to do your marketing, and it's very easy. The only problem is that you people want to sit in your offices, you want to sit in your other businesses, and then think the chicken are going to sell themselves, the chicken are going to feed themselves. No, they're not going to feed themselves. You are going to feed those birds, because it's you who is going to enjoy the profits that's going to come out of those birds. Okay, so this business of putting your workers at farm and then you're calling them, hey, okay, you tell me when they lay, when the eggs reach 10 trays, when the eggs, but are you physically part of this? Okay, you need to be physically part and parcel of the project. Very, very, very important. Some people go to the farms. At least when you go to your farm, it's very good if you can put there a structure where you can go and spend the night. I don't like training someone and then I'm going to be seeing you going to your farm as if you're visiting someone's farm. Hey, you see, you have to rush and go back to Kampala. What's there in Kampala? You have invested more than 20 million, 30 million, 50 million, 15 million. And again, you're rushing to go back to Kampala. What are you going to do? Okay? So it's very important, at least come over the weekend, stay at your farm, stay with your workers, talk to them, get to know the challenges that they go through. And this is how you're going to manage your farm very well. Otherwise, if you stay there, I said you spend 1 month, 2 months without visiting your farm. By the time you go there, most of the chicks are sick, others are even dead. Sometimes the workers at the farms are even selling these chicks here and they're lying to you that they are dying. And you're casting yourself and the person who trained you, into this kind of business. But it's very important we have shared, so I think I'll stop here for now. One thing I have to remind you is at me, a local poultry farm, before you do anything, we would want you to get the training. We want you to get the knowledge first. Before you say that I want to do this kind of business, come. It's only 50,000 shillings. Okay? So 50,000 shillings is going to stand for the millions that you're going to invest. Maybe you're not going to be able to manage this project. So by paying this small figure, you come and spend a whole day with us. We take you to the brooders, we take you to the adult stock, we take you to where we collect, how we collect these eggs. Because even picking matters, you don't just pick and put on a tray and then keep. No, we train you. How would we place the eggs on a tray? Okay, what kind of eggs do we put on a tray? Which eggs don't we put on that tray, and why? So you're going to learn everything, and everything is going to come at only that small cost that you're going. I mean that small charge that we are charging you for training. So from there, you're going to gauge yourself. Can I manage this? What do I need first? I don't see why you should come to us to book checks before you even set structures. These structures are very important. They're not going to make for you profits, but it's very good you come to us or you go to another farm that's recommended to look at these structures and know, okay, how do I set my structures? Some of you want to build these chicken structures as if you're building your own houses. No, it's not like that. There is a way we build. We shall bring you a video showing you how we build these structures. Okay? You can do this yourself. Some of these things you don't need to put in a lot of money to bring these carpenters, to bring these to do what. No. Some of these things you can do them yourselves. But still, if you want to get someone with expertise in this, then we can recommend you. Come up with the structures, put the drinkers in place, put the feeders in place, set a very good brooder for yourself. Okay? Buy at least some feeds and put them aside. And then come to us and then pay for the chicken. We shall supply the birds because they are there in plenty after acquiring that knowledge. So thank you very much. I'll be waiting for you, waiting for those phone calls and waiting for those comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and share and also comment and tell us what you want us to break down. Whatever you need, we shall be giving you.